I don't know. The volume is on the mic. So let's kind of play with those a little bit. Get started.
All right, my name is Alex McDonald. I'm called to order the Plain Township Board of Zoning Commission. Before we get started to the main agenda item today, we do have to read the statement of duties and procedure for conducting meetings, and then we have a couple of meeting minutes we have to approve before we get to the reason that most of you are here. So I'm going to start by reading the statement of duties of the Plain Township Zoning Commission. The Plain Township Zoning Commission's duties include the following: make recommendations to the Board of Trustees with regard to the amendments to the zoning text and map. The Zoning Commission does not have to prove to the applicant why his or her land should not be rezoned, but rather the applicant must prove his or her case for the proposed change. Any amendment adopted by the trustees becomes effective 30 days from the date of such adoption, unless a petition for referendum is filed within that 30-day period. Specific requirements for a petition of referendum are set forth in Chapter 519 of the Ohio Revised Code and Chapter 3501.38 of the Ohio Revised Code. Next, I will go over the procedure for conducting meetings. These hearings are recorded to maintain a permanent record. All testimony is given under oath. All speakers must sign in and identify themselves by giving their names and addresses before speaking each time. Speakers are only to address the board and must provide factual evidence. Conversation between the speaker and the audience will not be tolerated. The applicant speaks first and presents his or her request. Next, anyone in favor may speak. Then anyone in opposition may speak. Please appoint a spokesperson to express the group's viewpoint if a large number of persons wish to express the same viewpoints. The board members will vote and reach a verdict, and their decision will be announced. Should any additional hearing be necessary due to a continuance or postponement, the amendment will be rescheduled for the next available meeting date, and no additional notice will be provided. So, before we get into it, please raise your hand if you plan to present, to talk today and present testimony. All right. Everyone who's not standing to raise your hand, please stand up.
If you want to be sworn in,
We're going to swear in everyone at once, if you plan to talk. All right. Everyone raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the information you are about to present is true and accurate to the best of your knowledge and belief? I do. All right. Now you can sit back down. Thank you. All right. Before we get into today's agenda item, next we have to go over approval of minutes. First up are the November 12, 2025 minutes that are in everyone's packet.
I'll move to approve those minutes as submitted.
I second it.
All those in, actually we have to go over roll call. Doug Salt,
Present.
Brombacher,
Here.
Seaberger is not here, Italian here, Underation,
Here.
Pulliam.
Here.
Okay. Next we'll go over, in your agenda packet are the January 14, 2026 minutes.
I'll move to approve as written.
I will second. Roll call vote. Schultz,
Yes.
Brombacher,
Yes.
Seaberger is not present. McCallion, yes. Underation,
Yes.
Pulliam.
Yes.
There are, oh, yep. Can I have a motion to approve the November 12, 2025 minutes?
Move as submitted.
Second.
Roll call vote. Schultz,
Yes.
Brombacher,
Yes.
McCallion, yes. Underation,
Yes.
Pulliam.
Yes.
And then going back to the January 14, 2026 minutes, I have a motion to approve.
We passed those.
Yes.
Yeah. We passed those.
There's no unfinished business. Do we want to defer election of officers?
I would suggest we relative to the election of officers, since we don't have Mr. Seaberger here this evening, that we defer election of the permanent, and just for purposes of this meeting, nominate or name interim persons. And towards that end, I would move that Alex, you serve as chair for purposes of this meeting, and I will nominate myself to serve as secretary for purposes of this meeting.
I'll second both of those.
And do roll call vote. Doug?
Yes.
Rombacher?
Yes.
McCallion, yes. Seaberger is not here. Underation?
Yes.
Pulliam?
Yes.
Passed unanimously.
Just for the record, so you're chairman, temporary, say Alex?
Yep.
Okay, all right, so make sure I have it right, correct on paper here. So, all right, thank you.
And on to new business. The only new business on tonight's agenda is amendment number 594-26, McKinley Development Company LTD and Forward Principles LLC. Is there someone here tonight to speak on behalf of the applicant?
Yes.
Can you step forward and state your name?
My name is Rich Costin, 811 South Main Street, North Canton, with McKinley Development and Principal Board.
Can't hear him at all.
Could be the bad. Not sure why. Besides the matter. Well, I guess we can move them this way so we can speak kind of sideways. That help?
Thank you.
Let's do that. That way. So we can get that figured out. I'll try to work on that.
Give me your microphone.
Well, those aren't movable. Well, I guess you could.
They'll move a little.
Yeah, we could do that. And then you have to be backwards. Yeah, we'll make it work here. Try that. Check it through.
Check, check.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. I can turn it out.
All right, let's start over. Can you say and spell your last name and your address?
My name is Rich Costin. I work for McKinley Development, and I'm representing Forward Principles LLC. My address is 811 South Main Street, North Canton, Ohio.
Spell your last name, please.
Costin, C-O-S-T-I-N. I am up here in the beginning, myself, Dan Dehoff, will also be speaking. I'm here mainly to start off to just clarify some things. In the beginning, it was about the lot split. So I'm going to read a statement and then I can answer your question. As mentioned in our application, the parcels created the property to be rezoned were created by a recent lot split, and through a series of transfers, title to the parcels is vested in the name of Forward Principles LLC, which is owned by Bill Lemon and Dan Dehoff. And the two parcel numbers, I can give these, so they're read in. If you go to the application, it's on the front page, there's 4 parcels, and now those 4 parcels have been converted in, consolidated into 2 parcels, so I'll give you the 2 new parcel numbers. All right, here goes. The first parcel number is 1002063. The second parcel is 1002061. And again, just as a reminder, in the application, there's Exhibit A and the correlating legal description, and that is what we're asking for the rezoning. So it's just really the underlying parcels.
How many acres is that?
The
69.
the rezoning?
Yes.
Yes. 69.9473. And that should be on Exhibit A in the original application. The only thing changed was just the underlying parcels were consolidated, and that was stated in the application.
And those parcels are both owned of record now by Forward Principles LLC?
Correct.
the legal description with the declaration that accompanies this, is that the new parcels?
It should say R3 replat.
Yeah, we have it with 78 plus or minus acres.
I'm sorry, where are you seeing that? Because what may be a little, the rezoning is one set of acreage. The actual parcels, part of it was zoned R3 already.
Okay.
So that's broken out whenever we talk about what is being requested to be rezoned.
No, it is.
That is correct. There's a small portion that was already R3 by the sanctuary growth.
Correct.
Apartment buildings. So that could be the acreage difference.
Yeah.
Okay. I understand.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Before I turn it over to Dan, we're going to present some slides. So I have paper copies for the board members so that they can be looking around and stuff. So it's okay, Chuck, I'll pass them out to you. There might be some extras in there.
Get rid of this wherever you want there. Pretty good.
Good evening, my name is Daniel James Dehoff at 821 South Main Street, North Canton, Ohio. Ehoff is how you spell my last name. Well, thanks for having us. I've been in this room several times in my life. Never been this crowded, but it's all good. A little history, in 2000, the Lemon and Dehoff family, who I'm representing both Lemon and Dehoff, it's a partnership between basically our families for a long time, bought the sanctuary, what we call Sanctuary North and Sanctuary South. We developed the Sanctuary South into a single-family development. It's actually mixed use since it has the Sanctuary Grand there. That's a 30 million plus assisted living facility at the top there. It was all master campus. The north side was a tired golf course. A little history. In 2002, we engaged architect Brian Huntley to redesign the north side into an 18-hole golf course. We put $4 million into that golf course and operated it for 21 years till 2023. Golf in this area is very difficult to make financially worthwhile, and it wasn't that we just gave it a college try. We gave it decades of tries and had to close a golf course. This was not the fate of the property. This was never what we were expecting to do, but this is the next chapter that we wanted to talk to you guys about and our best foot forward on the future for that property. I'm going to go to a slide real quick. On that. And it looks like it's also working up there. So our approach to these types of things is to try to be transparent and open. We've seen other zoning applicants go through it. We feel this is the best foot forward. We have met with several neighborhood groups, including an entire group at our office, and have listened to them, learned a few things, and revised our plan again. So this is just a slide I wanted to start with. The shaded piece is the part that we're rezoning. It's approximately 69 acres for R3. It's almost like a donut. In the middle of the property, there's the Bond Lake Manors. That is apartments that we own, and those are obviously multifamily. The balance of the property, though you can't see it, does say it's not up for rezoning. So And I'm actually gonna talk about both properties, even though the property that's not up for zoning, isn't in front of you for a vote or a blessing today. But I think it is important to talk about the overall master plan of it. It's approximately 70 acres. If you could just flip to the next slide. All right, so I think this is just an interesting slide. So it just shows you that the Bottleneck Manors is in the middle. It's actually zoned R3. The Sanctuary Grove next to it is R3. And then you have condos in the gray area and then more apartments. You have like 359 apartments up through there in condos. I drove that whole neighborhood and was quite, honestly, I learned a few things about how much diversity is up there with just apartments and duplexes and condos. And so I, seeing that there was another project that was in this room earlier that was kind of, I think spot zoning, there was a lot of discussion on spot zoning. I just thought I'd show this out about our zoning is pretty, would fit into the yellow that's already there. So that's the kind of the point of the slide, is just to show you the current zoning mix and the surrounding stuff. Now for what everybody's been waiting for, our plan. And then can you flip that around? Okay. All right. I wish I had a little pointer, but from a distance. Can you guys all see that?
I've got
Okay. All right, so this has taken some time for us to internally negotiate with ourselves to put this plan in front of you. This plan has been thought out, and we're pretty proud of it in that sense. It is in essence lining up residential with residential and keeping that residential buffer away from the other apartments that are already existing, and then our new plan we're here to talk to you about today. So there's about 55 single-family residential lots. We have a letter of intent with Caris Homes. They're here today. They're an FCON franchisee. They have a development in the city of Green you might know of called New Communities. New Seasons. Sorry, New Seasons, right by Ponchos. And you're welcome to go look at it. But it's a targeted senior kind of build. We're gonna move forward with them on those lots. And then on the south side by Hume, we have 10 lots there. We have a letter of intent with AC Construction, his name's Alex, and then Lemon Homes as well. So that's good news on that. The lots there will have a fence in the back, as you can see, and a 20-foot buffer, which when we talked to the neighbors about it, we had lots of discussions about how that's maintained and where those exactly go and whether or not we can save trees. So it's all good, all normal. We're expecting to we have done similar fencing at the Sanctuary South, and it's been good for all parties. We have received the most conversation about the roads that you can see stub in. So let me explain a little bit. When an engineer gets involved in regional planning, have to submit to regional planning, when a road obviously dead ends into another road and it doesn't cul-de-sac, it dead ends. It was always expected to extend. And so in good faith, a planner and planners have to pick those up and extend those. We are showing those roads currently extending on our plan. Our office would be in support of vacating those extensions if regional planning, your office, I don't know exactly the process, it starts with with the township and then moves to the commissioners, but we would support the vacation of those public roads. We would need a connection on Hume and on Peachmont. So that is a little bit of discussion on those. Moving into the inside of the development, we have, oh yeah, can you move one more slide?
While she does that, are you saying you would not connect to Sheffield and Carmen? Or you
So
would?
let me just be clear, right now, we're showing those connections because we need to show those connections for an engineer, from engineering to engineering. And if the planners, the people that are in charge of that, are requiring those to connect, then we would connect those. If they would allow those not to be extended, we would support vacating that extension. So we'd be in support of not extending those.
Okay.
It's a bit of a process because they're gonna coordinate with police and fire and house numbering, and it's not something that we can control. But if the people that do control that decision want to vacate those or think it's a good idea to vacate those, we'd be in support of that. And we've shared that with the neighborhood group. And you'll probably hear some things about it tonight, which is okay. But if you have any other questions, you're welcome to ask. So as I move on to the inside of the plan real quick. So the inside of the plan has basically villas. These are residential, pitched roof, single story, attached garage, apartments. These are duplexes and triplexes. And you can see them around the outside there of the single family detached houses. Then on the south side, you have.
Excuse me.
Oh,
Excuse me.
No,
ma'am, you can't speak
not
right
at
now.
this time. Not at this time.
Okay, then on the south side, right there, you
Nobody
have,
knows what he's talking about.
basically garden-style apartments.
No.
Something that you might see in North Canton at Northridge. Those are garden-style walk-up, non-elevator buildings, pitch roof, residential construction, detached garages.
I think Rich, good point, when you talk, so people can understand what you're doing.
Yeah, we have no idea what you're talking about.
What the area you're talking
Yeah, I wish I had a little pointer.
Yeah,
but-
we did.
I'll see if I don't know if this pointer will work on the TV, but we're first described the residential area on this side, okay? That would only be connected if they can get it approved by regional planning here and on Peachmont, Hume and Peachmont. The other streets would not go through at this point. But if regional planning makes them put them through, they would have to go through.
Okay.
All right, so that's all residential, and he described the builders that he brought forward. And then the next layer he's talking about is in here, which is, and I'll let him allude to that, some garden style.
Yeah, garden-style apartments, thank you.
And that would be in through here.
Yeah, actually, right, those three buildings right there. Then on the very south side, you'll just have basically a cottage house, which is just a smaller villa. Again, slab on grade, residential, rental house. Those are right, just right there. Yep. Then,
Yeah, now you probably know the plan better than I do, but I'm just trying to help you out here. So,
Listen,
I'll try to find something else that we.
I appreciate it. I don't want anyone to not understand. My point is to be very transparent tonight and talk about the plan, so I want everybody to understand it. So, sorry about any technical difficulties, not my intent. Then you have a clubhouse and pool, with some pickleball courts and some more villas or cottage homes right there at the south of Bob Lake Banners. Okay, and then moving to the east, you have what is called the Kingsbury. So we developed the Danberries and the Sanctuary Grand that you see in North Canton. That demand is still high, and that's what we have proposed there. That is a licensed care facility, nothing that you're not familiar with. And then moving farther to the north, we have basically an independent living facility, senior targeted apartments. And then to the very north, an active adult. That's very similar to what we're building at Edgewood currently right now without the kitchen. Now, I'm gonna pause there for a sec, just because I'm gonna move on to the conservation area that I think most people are also very interested in knowing about. So do we have an overall, one more slide?
Were you gonna say the numbers? How many
I'm
units?
sorry.
So Dan, I have one question. The front, I guess backwards L, or the front one closest to Apple Grove, is that the one you said was gonna be senior living?
Yeah,
Okay. Are those are licensed beds?
license.
Okay. You guys already have-
Assisted living license, they're regulated by the state.
Okay. Is there like a bed license you need for those?
No,
Okay.
no, that's not a care need.
Okay.
You don't have to have a license.
I heard someone ask about unit count. We don't have tons of unit counts. On the Kingsbury, it'd be about 82 units. All right, so I'd just like to point out the other part of the property. Now, again, it's not up for the rezone, but we have been working with the Western Reserve Land Conservation District. And we've been talking to them for quite some time. Things are going very well. They would like to take title to that and make that ultimately a passive park. So that would not be developed at all. Now, when they mean passive park, they mean truly a passive park. So just walking trails only. So no dog park, no hanging out, no frisbee golf, just walking trails. They have been working with us, we've been working with them to get them access to Apple Grove Road. That'd be done through a way of an easement that would go right where Rich's hands are, up through that area to their property. They obviously have other stub roads that they could stub from. The residents wouldn't like those extended, and the conservation district would like access off of Apple Grove Road, which is most appropriate.
A little bit, yeah.
You guys have any initial questions? If not, Rich has a few engineering things that he could address, and then we can both ham and egg some questions together.
Again, my name's Rich Costin. I'm gonna kind of read a general statement geared more towards things that the zoning board's looking for. This request will allow development that aligns with the current residential patterns in the area, as well as long-term community growth objectives. We believe that the rezone, which proposes a mix of housing types, will be the most efficient use of the land. It aligns with adjacent uses, encouraging infill development rather than an outward sprawl. The property is well positioned to support higher density development with access to utilities. Stark County Sewer has a trunk line that runs through here. Aqua Water is on 3 sides of the property, and the road network, which includes the minor arterial road, which is Apple Grove. Apple Grove's just designed to handle a lot of traffic. So, Apple Grove, it is our belief that the proposed rezoning is logical and aligns with the township's mini plan and the county's comprehensive plan, supporting sustainable, well-managed residential growth. I do want to point out that there's no utilities here for North Canton City. We've heard some pushback that there are concerns about straining North Canton facilities, utilities. There is no North Canton utilities here. So, okay. As Dan was pointing out, just want to reiterate, the Western Reserve on the Western Reserve side is not part of the rezoning. Also wanted to re-emphasize that we have included in the application, whenever the trustees would see it, that we are a declaration, and that is our commitment that we will put residential, single-family homes next to the single-family homes, and also our commitment in writing will be recorded that there will be a 20-foot buffer between the existing residential and our new proposed residential. Traffic. So we did have a traffic impact study done. And some things I want to point out about with the traffic impact study. We are separating the traffic. So you have the single-family homes. That traffic will go into the single-family home to the north, and all the multifamily will go to Apple Grove to the south. They will not connect traffic, the property will not be any kind of a cut through. The roads on the north obviously are fee simple lots, so that will be public streets. All the internal streets on the multifamily would be private roads, so. The traffic impact study initially has recommended dedicated eastbound left turn lanes into our project. The traffic impact study would be submitted to regional planning, and as they review things, and whatever they come back and said we need to do is what we'll be doing. So, traffic. I think that was, yeah. I'm not sure Dan mentioned, there was, you did mention amenities, right? There was- Yeah, so we have amenities there with our community, internal to them, so community centers and internal trails. I think that was it, addressing more of the technical questions that you may be asking for.
I just thought I'd add one thing. So someone asked me about timing earlier, and I skipped over it. So this is obviously not gonna happen all at once. Our plan would be to start the single family this winter, have some houses available under construction in spring of 2027. And the balance of the project, we'd work as the market allows, which is, obviously takes a lot of time. And lastly, I guess on rents, I'm not sure if talking rent numbers is appropriate, but our current markets that we're in multifamily, including one in the city of Greene with a large multifamily project, with about 300 units. Rents on the low end are around $1,500 to $2,900 a month in rent. So apartment rentals unfortunately are not cheap, but that also brings a different quality, and that we can build the different amenities with those types of rents.
Yeah, where's the buffer, 20-foot buffer?
It's, yeah, you can see it, it's in green right at the back.
Oh, yeah.
See here, I'm going to put here, so you see the dark green.
Got it.
Yeah.
Can you point it on the map?
I am right here. It's that dark green space right here.
Right against. Sorry.
Dan, is there anyone else speaking on behalf of the applicant?
On the applicant? I don't think so. Oh, not on behalf of the applicant. I know there's some people that want to speak positively about it. But no one on behalf of myself, other than Rich and I.
Maybe before we get there, Dan, I was looking at the proposed declaration.
Yeah.
Condition, covenants and restrictions, and I don't want to belabor it, I may be beyond the scope of what we got going on here tonight, but it would certainly have to run to the benefit of the township.
Okay.
And not only just the beneficiary, the owners of those particular lots identified, but also the township. And it would also not be subject to amendment or termination, again, without the township trustees, in my view.
That's fine.
I think the 16 acres that it talks about as being restricted to single family, can we get a meets and bounds exhibit for that?
We can. I can't produce it today.
No, I understand.
Yeah, yes.
We can get that, and,
It'd be consistent with the plan you see.
yeah, I understand, but it should pick it
Yeah,
up.
absolutely.
And same with the zoning buffer, it references a required buffer, but it really doesn't attach anything that shows it. And I understand what it is.
Yeah,
We
the
should
intent
like
is to be
to
at the back
clean
of
that
those
up,
lots.
Yeah, that should be cleaned up. And as I said, it should run to the benefit specifically of the township as well as the beneficiaries you've identified, and it shouldn't be subject to any change or termination without the township approval, so. All
We'd
that's
be okay with that.
you?
Yeah.
Okay.
We would work work with the township to accomplish that.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring it to your attention.
Does anyone have any other questions for the applicant before we move on to allow those in favor of the application to speak?
I had one, just to make sure that everybody's clear that it's hard to see back there. The one area is not being developed, it's going to be turned into a reserve area, correct?
Yeah,
So
that's
that way
that's
they know that that is, because that might be a confusion there. All that land is not being developed or in the rezoned parcels.
Can you also, that's a wetland, so it can't be developed.
Well,
So-
first of all, it's not for discussion right now. I was just pointing that out, that area is going to be a reserve. So the company is putting that forward, so that everybody knows what that.
There hasn't been an agreement.
So, it's not,
I'm asking you a question.
so you can't ask him a question. You can speak to the board when it's time, but yeah, I was just trying to tell you the area so you understand what the map is showing.
I'm just trying to understand, I just wanted to know where Applegrove was on the map.
Apple Grove's on the south side.
On the bottom, right, thank you.
Board has no more questions for you. We will move on to, is there anyone here to speak in favor of the application? Ma'am? Case?
I'm Donna Miller. I'm the owner of the duplex that abuts the Peachmont entrance.
Can you say the address for us?
My address, the address is 7592 Carmen Drive.
Is that also your residential address?
No, I live in Plain Township on Harness Circle,
What's the address?
6552 Harness Circle.
Thank you.
I live in a villa home, and I very much endorse the idea for the empty nesters. I no longer have to take care of the yard work or the snow. I wake up in the morning and, oh, it snowed out, and it's gone, because they take care of it. So there are a lot of white-haired people in here like me who are sick and tired of yard work, especially this time of the year. But the villa homes that you have planned, I drove through that neighborhood to see what the sample is like, and they're really lovely homes and very well built, and I think a lot of people that live in Bobolink might find that downsizing is good. One of the advantages that I see is that our school system and our township will get a lot more tax money from the improved properties, and that's all good, without adding more students, because the villa homes are more likely gonna appeal to people who have empty nests, if they have 2 bedrooms. That will also open up the opportunity for some of the 4-bedroom homes that have empty nesters in them to be opened up to students moving in. And I understand that with North Canton Schools construction, they have room for more students, so that's all good. But there are so many advantages of additional employment opportunities for all of the people that will be building, all of the people that will be using the retail facilities that we have in our area. The path of progress is gonna happen, whether it's in North Canton, in Plain Township, or whether it's up in Green or Jackson Township. And the plan that I see here looks very good. I'm a retired real estate appraiser who focused on residential properties. So when I look at this plan, I think they're using this land to the highest and best use. And it'll be of benefit to the community. Will it create more traffic? Yes. But it'll also create more income and a move of growth for our community. So that's my statement on it.
Thank you.
Wonder how much she got paid.
Nothing. I didn't get paid anything. I'm just looking at it
All right,
objectively.
everyone, please be reminded, you're not supposed to be having interactions like that, please. You're addressing the board and the board only when it's your turn.
Yes, ma'am.
May I speak on?
On behalf? Yes.
My name is Glenna Wilson, I'm with Karis Homes, our address is 821 South Main Street in North Canton. I'm born and raised in Stark County, been a home builder since 2003. I had the privilege of moving to this area from Maslin in 2018. I'm also the president and founder of the company and all that created the courtyards at New Seasons and Green. I've had the privilege, and it's been a true privilege since 2007, to build in 5 different DeHoff developments. The DeHoff family has integrity. I live in the Sanctuary, which is a DeHoff community right across the street from here, and I feel it's the best housing development in the area. And but like the lady before me said, we have demographics of 65 plus people. 11,000 people a day turn 65 in this country. We're living longer, and the housing needs are as great as the first-time home buyers. And what's nice is they're kind of like lock and leave communities. A lot of people in our community up in Green live in Florida for a few months and then come back when the weather finally gets warm, maybe June or July. But it's all what's called zero entry homes, where there's no steps, so it reduces the risk of falling. No curbs on the showers, more light lever hardware, and it's just a great, we call it right sizing instead of downsizing. And again, it, like the lady before me, it gives a great opportunity for new families to come in and buy those homes that they've lived in 35, 40 years, and they no longer can navigate. So it's a great community, and what I like about this project in particular is the revenue it will create locally for the subcontractors, for the plumbers and the heating, cooling, and the excavators, and that'll be local people that live here and pay taxes here. So it's a great concept. I came across this concept in Charlotte in 2018. My daughter lived there and had her first baby, and I went down there and I found this concept of villa-type homes. And what's really nice about the buffer that they're going to create, these homes have courtyards on the side. So really the side of one house is the back of their home. And in other words, they won't probably ever sit back there in that back of the, behind the house, because they would create a courtyard that's very private, and they have space to enjoy the outdoor area. I've been a custom builder since 2003, so you're gonna have custom quality, and I do have brochures if anybody would like to see our model up in Green. It's the last house that we have available. We just got a contract on it, and if you want to come up and visit the quality and see the concept, I'd be happy to give out brochures. But thank you for the opportunity, and I think it's a great plan for people, for seniors.
Thank you. Does anyone have questions? Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am? Yes.
Julia Sandrew, S-A-N-D-R-U. I'm on 1075 Cromdale Circle in the Sanctuary. Location, location, location. And that's where I moved because of the location. The location for me, and I'm sure for most of these people behind me, is going to be changing. And I do not trust any contractor.
Are you in favor of this or opposed?
I'm opposed.
Okay, ma'am, this is.
We haven't opened that yet, so.
This is the time for people in favor.
You'll be first in line.
Don't go very far. Don't go anywhere. Is anyone else in favor of the application? No one else in favor of the application wants to speak? Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay. You're just moving us along.
So I'm speculating that most of the people here behind me are here because there is going to be a change. And I'm guessing it's not going to be a positive change. My previous allotment that I moved from, premier homes, these are all the declarations, the specs, this is what we had to abide for, a custom home. Then the other lots were sold, and all of a sudden, things changed. We actually had a group of homeowners that collected money from homeowners there, and we took it to court. Because it was false advertising and false marketing. And just because they say it's A today, doesn't mean it's gonna be A in 10 years from now. We know things change, and this is happening right now. So I hope everybody is thinking about what this is going to do to their location, because I don't see it as a positive at all. Yes, there are those that are 65 and need smaller homes and everything, and that's fine, I'm not saying you can't do that, but not in a location that I moved into, and I'm sure these other people moved into also. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
The next person that signed up on here was a Melissa. So, you to speak?
My name is Melissa Trickett. I live at 7440 Carmen Drive. I'm not a real estate developer, I'm a homeowner. I'm speaking against, I'm stating that I'm opposing this change in the zoning. One thing is, it's personal. I have been there for 33 years. I'm in a property right there between Sheffield Drive and Oakway. Now, I'm not knowing if I'm reading or understanding what you were explaining on the drawing, but the way I'm understanding it, you could still extend those two streets, Sheffield and Oakway. I'm not sure if those were the streets you were talking about, or maybe down at the end close to Piedmont. But anyway, my house would be right, one over from Oakway. I'm on the golf course, the previous golf course side. Now, I've been a little spoiled because I've had that nice view, beautiful trees. You know, that would all change if you change the zoning. I am 65. I don't want to downsize yet. Now, some people want to, that's their personal choice. I've seen too many changes here in Plain Township and in this area, the North Canton area. I'm from this area. I grew up on the corner of Elmhurst and Apple Grove when I was a little girl. And lived with my grandparents. They widened the road and they had to tear my grandmother's house down. So I have some relatives that still own that property there, but I had to see that beloved home torn down. And then my first starter home was at 1015 Apple Grove between Pittsburgh Road and Cleveland Avenue. That was an older house. Anyway, they widened the road there. They took almost that whole front lawn that I had there. And then I've seen all the building going up. We've gotten away from that small town kind of rural setting here. When's it gonna stop? I mean, it seems like every little inch of property is being eaten up and developed. And, you know, if I was a real estate developer and just, you know, looking at it from that angle, I'd say, well, I see what you mean, but I'm looking at it from the other side. So I think the quality of our life would go down if we do this. I think even if, since the golf course closed, it's still zoned, I think, is it single family residential, or would you build just regular homes back there but not multi-dwellings? If that's what I'm understanding. Still, that's a change, but it wouldn't be quite as bad as what you're proposing now. I think we're gonna have more traffic. Our taxes keep going up in Stark County. I think my property value will go down definitely. Are they gonna reduce my taxes if my property value goes down? I doubt that. So, I mean, I'm just saying, enough's enough. And we've gotten away from we had a nice area here, and I've seen allotments go up my whole life around the area, but enough's enough. Thank you.
Thank you. We got Amy Wilkins on Beechmore.
Good evening, and thank you for your attention. My name is Amy Willems, Willems, and I live at 2385 Beechmore Drive in Bobolink subdivision. I'm a retired federal employee and currently a math tutor at Stark State College, and a resident of Plain Township since 1997, and North Canton for most of my life prior to that. I understand there are a litany of reasons for wanting to develop the parcels of land being discussed here today. And I agree, some of them are good. While I am not wholly opposed to this next iteration, I have concerns about high density development and questions for the zoning board. I'm hopeful that you are aware that numerous changes enacted by the board during the last 10 to 15 years are having documented impact on drivers who travel Apple Grove Street, particularly between Marquardt and Starcliff Avenues. The Werner Church Road extension, the fountains at Edgewood, and the Sanctuary Grand were opened or in progress since around 2017. According to TCDS data, there has been a 19% increase in vehicles between those intersections from 2015 to 2024. More concerning are the number of collisions at the intersection of Starcliff and Apple Grove. According to the Stark County Crash Report from 2024, there were 23 crashes there during the three-year period ending 2024, thank you. That is one crash every 7 weeks. This is startling since the same report for the 3-year period ending 2015 cited just one collision. And in the report ending 2011, there were none. Westbound traffic turning left into the Sanctuary Grand are taking risks for themselves and other travelers. I often see near misses. I think that many of us can extrapolate that creating additional high-density housing with many more drivers entering and exiting Apple Grove in that vicinity will create unwelcomed and dangerous conditions. In their application cover letter, GBC Design, Inc. cites, and I'll quote, "Careful site planning at the development stage ensures that potential impacts are appropriately addressed," and traffic is the first on their list. What are those specific measures? Are we suggesting that this zoning committee did not have the forethought to ensure that potential impacts were properly addressed when it zoned the Sanctuary Grand? Again, I ask for specific traffic flow strategies because I think I can speak for many of my neighbors when I say that planning to route traffic through the Bobolink subdivision where there are no sidewalks for pedestrians in lieu of Apple Grove Street is completely unacceptable. And I did learn a little bit tonight, so thank you. I will listen to your plan. And really, I'm passionate about this, obviously because it's our neighborhood, but also I drive through the intersection at Apple Grove and Main Street in North Canton multiple times a day. And the half measures and the debacle that intersection has become, to me, is a result of poor planning and jumping the gun in many of our desires to improve. Thank you for your consideration. I do have documents to support.
Phyllis Participo? You're good? Yep. Says Donna, I think it's Dan Miller?
I already did.
You already good? Robin Triner? On, that's in North Canton, but Long Shadow?
My name is Robin Tryon. I'm at 1260 Long Shadow Avenue, northeast in the Sanctuary. The wooded property along Marquardt at the corner of Apple Grove is owned by AEP for a future substation. I spoke to a representative who said that they could not guarantee that this would not happen, depending on if they needed more power We're wanting to know about the future requirement of utilities if this property is developed, and if it will require the development of a substation. The location of a substation is basically the backyard of many of the homes in the sanctuary, which would severely lower our property values. Just need to know the answer to that.
Last name is Simmons on Carmen Street, Carmen Drive.
Rod Simmons, Simmons, 7310 Carmen Drive, Northwest. At least we're not here talking about Dollar Generals being added or anything like that, which is cool. However, as a parent of 2 children, school-age children, my concern is with the traffic within the area. As of right now, North Canton City Schools, you have to walk within a certain distance. However, we have an exception on the Carmen Drive side to go and get busing in. My concern is also with Apple Grove in general, and the fact that there are already 5 existing assisted living facility entrances on that road between Main Street and Starcliff. 2 on each side, and then the sanctuary, we call it Grande at home because it's fun. Anyway, the addition of that traffic, my children are learning how to ride bikes, my children will learn how to drive cars. We are already seeing, as mentioned previously, there's impact with traffic within that area. The additional low-density usage that the R3 would support does not allow for that traffic, to be taken care of properly. I have concerns for the infrastructure of the township itself, whether it's fire, EMS, police. The funding that the way I understand it within the township is that is all levy-based, and that is how they're funded, and that may be wrong on that. But in order to get additional fire, EMS, police to handle that area, we would need to have additional levies. It is my experience and my assumptions, I guess, that typically folks that don't own homes or older folks typically do not vote for those levies because they do not want an increase in their taxes. So that would be effect of that as well. So we wouldn't have areas being policed. EMS in assisted living facilities is almost a constant. I can sit in my backyard, hear ambulances all the time, especially within those areas. So that is kind of my concern with the area, the infrastructure, the levies that are attached with it, and ultimately the safety of my children. Living on Carmen Drive, we have seen children get hit by a car. It was caught on a Ring doorbell. It was reported to the township. People were notified, sheriff was called. The person that got out of the car then said, "Why did you hit my car?" The little girl was just riding, that person hit the car. So I've seen it happen. I'm glad that she is safe. However, those issues will be increased with the increased amount of traffic that we will see in that area, in addition to everything else. So that's it. Thank you.
I have a Jim, it's a Casey at 1250 Glen Ave.
Gentlemen, I didn't know I was gonna say anything tonight. Came to listen. But I do have a problem. Can you put the last picture back up on there?
Sir, did you say your name and your address?
Yeah, my name is James Casey. I live at 1250 Glen Abbey in the sanctuary. And I'd like to start off by saying that the DeHawk family and Bill Lemon and so forth are exceptionally great. We could be looking at a building company buying this and putting something much, much worse over there. It has happened in this area already. But what I'm really concerned about is looking at that map. If you take, I live in the Sanctuary, and if I come out of Sanctuary Boulevard, I'm facing right across the street, the entrance to the apartments over there. Now, if I wanna go left, and a guy comes out of there and wants to go left, whose turn is it? Well, it doesn't matter, because we've got cars coming this way and cars coming this way, so we're gonna sit here for 5 or 10 minutes. It's very dangerous. We've asked for a traffic light. I understand that would it be the north side of Apple Grove is Plain Township. The south side is North Canton. When we ask for a traffic light, I think Plain Township says, well, that's North Canton's problem. North Canton says, well, that is Plain Township's problem. We can't, it's too close between Stark Cliff and Markward, right. We can't put a traffic light there. Why can't we at least unitize the two lights that are there to turn red at the same time so that we can get out of the sanctuary allotment and out of this new allotment? Now, when I look at this up there, I've got some construction background of my own, about 40 years worth. I owned a company called Windows and More for 25 years in this area. When I look at that pink, the pink housing, the front one is a nursing home. And then there's units behind it. That almost looks like H-E-L if there was a P on the bottom. But I would picture the Sanctuary Boulevard as the 3rd street over from those pink things. And right now, the road goes straight across into the golf course area. Now it looks like it's moved to the left on this. So you're still gonna have both of those streets coming right out onto Apple Grove at the same time, and you're not only unloading all of the traffic coming out of the sanctuary, you've got all this new traffic coming out at the same time. And it just won't work without doing something to that intersection for the sake of the people that are here now and more people to come. So that's my main problem. Other than that, I think the builders are great, and I'm glad they didn't sell it off. Thank you.
Emily at 8215 South Thornhill?
Yes.
So my name is Emily Tennant. I'm at 8215 South Thornham Circle Northwest. I think what you might hear different about my address is I'm at a different part of Plain Township than some of the other people speaking here, but what I can speak to from experience is owning a home where there's a barrier and a buffer and a fence. A fence of which has been destroyed for 4 years with a condo development behind it that we have gone no less 16 times, been promised over and over and over in writing and out for beautiful villa homes. They don't have backyards, they have beautiful side things. I'm in one of the buffer zone areas right behind me, and the condo development has had no interest in fixing that. It's one thing that I worry about when I look at this, especially when I see the plan with Meyer that had beautiful soccer fields for us that I believe is also in Plain Township. And the plans of that changed very, very much. When I look at the comprehensive plan for Plain Township that was put together by members of the township, one of the big purposes was not to develop every aspect of available land. And as much as they say that that aspect over there is open green space, that's not developable land for a lot of different reasons. That I just, when in living in this community, developing every square inch of it immediately when we can, I don't think actually preserves anything about why we all live here. that every single inch doesn't need to be in there. I look at those homes and I agree that there's a housing crisis not only in this township, not only in this county, but in this country right now, that we need better affordable housing. $1,500 minimum housing for seniors does not meet the board's, if you read your comprehensive plan, that initial statement, $1,500 for seniors that are right now struggling to stay in homes where that is not their mortgage, where they can't stay for tax purposes, is not in the alignment of the best place for us to live. It just simply isn't. I respect DeHoff as a company. I think they've done amazing things in the community. This is just looking at it is not one of them. Those are houses on top of houses on a street that you can barely drive down. I live on the other side again of Plain Township where that little boy was hit by a school official 2 years ago. He was in my son's class. There are no sidewalks in this plan. There are no sidewalks through anywhere. The more traffic we add there, the more this is going to happen. These are 2 kids in our district who are not doing anything there, but unfortunately texting and driving is a huge problem, and we need to think about how that actually impacts people who are going through that area. Because the traffic patterns are horrendous right now. Anyone who says that Apple Grove was designed for more traffic apparently has not driven on that street. If you cut through from there, going towards the North Canton schools, almost every day you will see the cross-country teams driving through, like jogging through there, and almost every day you will see them almost get hit. If we add almost 1,000 people to that area, this is going to increase. And I think by not saying something today, what will happen to those people is on all of us. That we need to think through a comprehensive, solid plan. I'm not against development, but putting everything on top of each other is just not why we all moved here. Speaking of that, with North Canton schools, the buses are packed. They're sitting 3 kids to a seat. I don't know how much this has been actually discussed with the school district that it will actually be in, but it will add traffic to that district. Most of the buses cannot support additional children, not because we don't have enough buses, but because we don't have enough drivers to drive them. So until this is discussed with the school district, I don't think that we can say that this is a comprehensive plan that is making this better for anybody. Thank you.
Kara Miller on Sheffield.
Hi, Kara Miller, or spelled Miller, M-I-L-L-E-R. Sorry, just seems like you should know how to spell that. 2483 Sheffield Street, North Canton, 44720. Okay, so I'm a mom of 3. A driver, God help me, a almost driver, and then a bike rider. Also, they walk the neighborhood. It's concerning. I live on Sheffield, and I know for years we have complained, because I've grown up here. Starcliffe and Sheffield, people have wanted for years, decades, a double stop sign there. One on Starcliffe and one on Sheffield. I can't tell you how many times I have seen children, cars, dogs almost get hit there. Now, since Meyer has opened up, Apple Grove is a mess, my street is the cut-through street. People come on Sheffield, Radford, and Starcliffe from Mount Pleasant, from Orion, just to miss Apple Grove, because it is so dangerous. My son gets to ride his bike, which he should be allowed to. He has to cross over Apple Grove. I, on a daily basis, am scared to death for his life. I think that, I know change happens. I agree with change. I'm a hairstylist, so change happens quite a bit in my industry. But I also hear people on a daily basis and the concerns. And I'm not one to go like against the grain. I'm kind of like, well, it is what it is. We just have to suck it up. But I do worry. We don't have sidewalks in our neighborhood. We don't have lights in our neighborhood. Our kids get on the bus stop at 6:30 in the morning. It's dark. My daughter used to, she's driving now, again, God help me. She would go down to this bus stop by herself in the dark. She almost got hit multiple times. So I do worry about the traffic, and I know that the plan isn't now that Sheffield and Carmen, Peachmont would be happening right now, let's be honest, we know it's going to. And if that is the case, I want a plan that says there's only one stop sign on Sheffield if that happens. And that is right at Beechmore. That's it. From all that way until you get to Radford, and you can either make a right or a left. There is no stop sign. That is my concern as a parent. Our kids have to go to a bus stop, and there is no lights, and there's no sidewalks. So if this development does happen, which it looks great, it does, it looks magical. If I was 65 and older, maybe, but I live in a ranch, so I'm good. We need to have a plan for that. What is the plan? Can we add lights? Can we add stop signs? So I guess I'm looking more towards answers for Plain Township, not DeHoffer. Also, is this for sure zoned for North Canton City Schools? That's my other question, because I know Bobolink was grandfathered in for North Canton schools. It is? Okay. And the schools aren't big enough to house more kids, just FYI. They weren't big enough when they built them, but that's not my concern. Okay, that's it, thanks.
Julia on Cromdale? She already spoke? Okay. That's everyone I have on this list that signed in.
Can I add my name to that?
I need to have my name.
Were you guys already sworn in at the beginning?
Yeah,
I was not.
I was.
I was.
He was.
Who was sworn in that wants to speak?
I was. Hold on.
But you need, when you're done, I need an address there, so.
My name is Janet Richards, and I'm lucky enough to live at Janet, R-I-C-H-A-R-D-S. I'm lucky enough to live on Hume Street, so that means now I'm gonna have a highway.
Full address?
2392 Hume Street.
Thank you.
So I'm lucky enough that my street is now gonna be completely open to traffic. So, I mean, this is like not the first request that this development company's brought about Apple Grove. The Sanctuary Grove Apartments and Sanctuary Grand Senior Living residents are already there. The Sanctuary Golf Club, after it closed, on the promise that there would be this infinite plan that'd be wonderful. Now we're looking at 4 more parcels. 2 of them currently are rural, residential, that are gonna be converted to multifamily and another large assisted living facility. Each request, the loan sounds modest, sounds wonderful. If you're in Green, you go up there, that neighborhood, it's beautiful, but it's also completely landlocked. It's one entrance in, it's not going through someone else's neighborhood and opening up streets to them. 2 of these parcels are currently rural residential, the lowest density classification the township has. The request takes them straight to R3 multifamily. This is the largest jump available in the residential code. It's being asked for these parcels and surrounding land to remain R1 and RR. That pattern of selectively elevating a handful of parcels to a much higher density while leaving the surrounding land alone is what Ohio courts have called spot zoning. I'm asking the commission to identify on record the specific change in conditions that justifies treating these 4 parcels differently from the surrounding land. If R3 is granted, the zoning attaches the land permanently. It does not bind McKinley to the site plan. A future owner could build any R3 permitted use up to maximum density. It is the commission is going to move forward at all and must do by conditionally rezoning ties to an R3 and specific site plan with a definite unit cap and automatic revision if the project is not built as approved. Verbal assurance is not enforceable. We do not have an agreement for that to be a green space. It's in talks. I'm asking the trustees on the record what enforceable mechanism, deed restriction, recorded development agreement, or conditional zoning ordinance will secure that limit. I'm asking that you deny this amendment until McKinley provides an original sanctuary master plan, a corridor level traffic study covering all existing proposed sanctuary plans. There hasn't been a traffic study for this entire place. It's been pieced and parceled out. We've not had a study for the schools, how it's gonna impact them. We've not had a study on how it's gonna impact the water, EMS, fire, any of that. So what's gonna happen, like someone said earlier, we have ambulances constantly going to those nursing homes. And it's a saturated market. We already have those there. And there's no promises. There's a lot of ifs and ands and hopes. There's nothing that's gonna guarantee this is gonna be 50 and over. There's nothing that's gonna guarantee what these apartments are gonna be into. We've been really lucky with the Bobolink apartments. They stayed pretty nice. But it's not always gonna last. There's nothing to guarantee that. And all the people that are speaking about this, they don't live in the neighborhood. We live in the neighborhood. We're the ones that are gonna put up with, we're the ones that are gonna lose our housing values. And we don't know what it's gonna do to our water, we don't know what it's gonna do to, Plain Township does not have the speediest police department. So what's gonna happen now, because like someone said, apartments, they don't vote for levies. People renting, they don't care. Older people, they're gonna have fixed income, they're not gonna vote for a levy. So Plain Township's gonna be completely strapped after doing this. And we don't even drive down Apple Grove anymore. We shortcut down Orion because it is so bad you can't get through there. I own a small business and it's on 7th Street. I have to take a shortcut because I can't go down Main Street because the traffic is so terrible. It'll take me 20 minutes to make a 5-minute drive. And that's what we're looking at. It's not a good thing. There's too many things that are like handshakes, and this is a promise and a thought, and this might happen. There's nothing that's preventing them from doing whatever they want, and that's what keeps happening. They keep coming back, and little by little, eating up more and more, and selling you these things on these little pieces and how it's gonna look. No one's looking at the entire thing, and someone needs to look at that. And you guys are responsible for whatever happens.
Before anyone else speaks, we've heard a lot of the opposition. Does anyone that wants to speak have something additional or different to say in opposition that hasn't already been said? Ma'am, were you sworn in already?
Pardon me?
Were you sworn in already?
Yes.
I'm not sure this is even appropriate, since this is not, this is not part of the rezoning they're requesting today, but it is about the land that abuts to the rezoning. I live on Pinecone Street, which is one of the streets that is not being rezoned. But my question is, the land.
Did we get your name and address?
Oh, I'm sorry, Joanne Niarchos, 1603 Pinecone Street, Northwest.
Thank you.
My question is, if this yellow section that is not going to be rezoned, it appears to be landlocked. So what happens if they can't give it to a conservation place, and then you have this property that's sitting there that abuts to what they are rezoning, that abuts to Pinecone? And I'd really like to know what the plan is, because our street right now is a dead-end street. But I see no other way to access this property they're talking about unless you would open up our street.
Oh, yeah, right in front of my house.
So I guess my question goes to,
On the house.
what exactly is the plan for the yellow section that they're not asking to rezone right now? Because it abuts up to what they're rezoning. It comes down to my street, which is Pinecone, and also there is, on the north side of Pinecone, the houses on the north side, there's 10 feet that belongs to the golf course that I don't even see on here as talking about it, but it was part of the golf course. And it runs directly behind all of our properties, and it's 10 feet wide. So what is that? What's gonna happen to that? Who's gonna own that? If you see Pinecone is right here, 10 feet behind Pinecone on the north side, belonged to the golf course. And he wanted to use that originally in case he needed to access that golf course. But there's no mention of that property anywhere in this plan. And it was part of the golf course. And I'm assuming it still is. So those are my questions, and I think the biggest thing is if this doesn't become a conservative place, what's gonna happen to that land? Are they going to put housing in there? I mean, that's a big chunk of land that could possibly be developed in stage 2. So, that's my question.
That's something.
Is there anyone else that has already been sworn in that has something different to say? Sir?
My name's Adam Sufew at 1041 Laurel Green Drive Northeast in the sanctuary development. First thing is the sanctuary development was first supposed to be a senior community that DHOF developed, and I believe that changed very rapidly once he realized that they could not fulfill that need. Secondly, he says, DHOF says he spoke with neighbors and a neighborhood group. I would love to know that neighborhood group that you spoke with. Be cool. Speak to the people, you know, around where you develop it.
Please address the board.
Cool, that's okay. Left-hand turn lane, you're going to have to put in a left-hand turn lane on Apple Grove, on both directions. If not, you're going, and that's at the cost of the community. Whether it be Plain Township, which obviously, or North Canton, but you guys are gonna have to work together to do it. If not, that development will not work. You will not have egress from that development whatsoever. We don't have one now from the sanctuary development. Let's see. Oh, lastly, there's going to be another elderly home in our development. The lowland that sits below the sanctuary grant is going to be developed into an elderly development because that was when there was a lot recently sold and that was disclosed. So you're going to have all this concentration of people. How do we expect to deal with it? How do we expect to deal with the traffic, to deal with the pain? Because really, ultimately, it truly is, it's a traffic issue. We can, you know, we can state our opinions, we can state everything else, but truly, it is a dedicated traffic issue, congestion issue. Sidewalks are gonna have to be put in, all the way up and down Apple Grove, if you're gonna have all this traffic, because there's no way for people to get down around. I see people walking up and down Apple Grove in the street now. So, it's on you guys, like, really, truly.
Sir, were you already sworn in?
Yes.
Gary Johanning, I live at 940 Royal Oak, I'm also in the sanctuary. One thing that was talked about was Apple Grove was good with all this traffic. The light at Apple Grove and Main Street, you can sit 3 and 4 lights when you're heading west. The only time I sit in more traffic is when I go to a Cavs game or a Guardians game, and that's on East 9th Street in Cleveland. I mean, it's ridiculous there, and even the subs that work in our neighborhood say the same thing. You know, we have to wait. So what they do is they go up Chatham and go out again on Orion, like people are talking about, and then you get at a light right there at Orion and Main Street, and you can take that Orion right down to Pittsburgh Road and get on the freeway or do whatever you want. And I myself, when I go through there, I go slow because it is a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit. But I'm sure a lot of other people don't, and that's not really what people to do is cutting through Wilbur or Chatham to get to the other side. The other thing was, you know, we always hear that this is going to create jobs and that. If they build R1 and build homes there, it's going to create the same amount of jobs. It's not going to be any different. It's going to be the same tax base. It's going to be the same everything. You're going to have homes instead of apartments. The last thing is, I don't see how anybody anywhere can vote to put in multifamily and residential lots. It just makes no sense whatsoever when it's already zoned for homes. And I can see the homes. I mean, Edgewood Golf Course went out, and that was, you know, and I know everybody complained about that, they said we had nice views and, you know, that long par five. And I agree, they were nice views, but that was the developer's choice. I mean, it was zoned for homes, so that's what they built. And it should be the same here. Thanks.
Sir, did you have something other than traffic?
I'm not talking about traffic.
Okay. Can you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the information you are about to present is true and accurate to the best of your knowledge and belief?
I am.
Please state please state your full name and your address.
Sure. Rob Arbogast, Arbogast, 2230 Radford Street, Northwest. Okay, so I didn't know about any of this, sorry folks, until last night when my wife says, we were sitting there on the couch, are you going to this meeting? What do you think about all of this? And I didn't know. So sorry. So I came here tonight to learn. And I think that's really what the meeting should be about. I heard two gentlemen ramble without facts. They didn't know about how to work through the issue of the acreage with you guys. They didn't know how the streets would be addressed or not addressed. They just didn't know a lot. So I can only walk away with this. If you don't know some of the basic questions, how the hell can you actually get approval to do this work that they're talking about? Get the facts. And if you get the facts and we can understand it, great. When we did ask the question about how many units, you know, we'll have villas, we'll have duplexes, we'll have garden styles, no facts. This just seems very capricious. So please, when you look at this, all of these things that people have brought up, pluses and minuses, are all valid and all wonderful, and it's good to hear those and to understand it. But get the facts on this thing before we go forward. Get the facts out to the people. That would be the best thing that I could tell you and recommend at this point in time, because I have no idea. I have no idea what 1,000 people or whatever the number is, because I can't tell from what was brought up in my neighborhood. What's going to happen? What does it mean for us? So please, get some facts on this thing and let us know. Thank you very much.
Ma'am, in the back?
Yes.
Oh, you?
Okay.
Were you already sworn in?
No, I was not.
Raise your right hand for me.
Yes.
Do you swear or affirm that the information you are about to present is true and accurate to the best of your knowledge and belief?
Yes, I do.
Please state your full name and your address.
My name is Avalon Wright, and I live on 7701 Angel Drive. I have a speech written. And what you hear, you might have already heard today, but I want you to listen to my perspective as a kid. I'm on the opposing side. For those who live in North Canton, I don't know if you will remember it, but before there was Meyer, there used to be a little like almost forest, and I remember there was a gate and there were so many trees and deer, and you could see them when you drove past, and it was really cool to see those deer. That was one of the first times I've ever seen deer. And they were just gone within like 2 years for a storm. I also run and bike through the neighborhood of Bobbling, and I do that with my friends. And one of my friends has been close to getting hit because there are just so many careless drivers and teens who go way over the speed limit, and by adding more people, that would just add to that danger. Many people also cut through my neighborhood too. Just the other day, me and my friend saw with our other friends going all the way from St. James to Baldwin just to get to Apple Grove so they wouldn't have to go through the stoplights. And they're not the only people who do that. Many people do, and that's also adding to our traffic. I also ride the bus, and there's not much room on my bus, and there are so many buses in our neighborhood. I don't have a seat. I have to like switch seats because there's like no seats, and adding people would not help with that problem. It's also very scary for me in the morning because I have to walk a block to my stop, and I have to go on the corner of Angel and Chestnut. And I know it's not close, but it's very dark and people can't see. And I see cars come by every morning, and there just be more cars adding to that. My grandpa and grandma live in the Bubble Lake townhouses, and my grandpa has shown me how to golf there, and that's one of my best memories with them. They have a view straight from their porches. It's just such a beautiful place, and I feel we do not have many places like that in North Canton or in Plain Township. I have seen the sunrise and the sunset, and it is beautiful. It is just a sight that you don't see anywhere else. And I feel that it should become a community park. The area is open and it is beautiful. I have had so many ideas about maybe trying to build a park. I was at the point to maybe trying to do a fundraiser to buy the property. I don't know what it will be like if we build on it, but I feel like I like it just the way it is. Even if we could just make it a community center, not even having to build on it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. I think there was one more gentleman in the back that wanted to speak.
You just swear me in too.
Do you swear or affirm that the information you are about to present is true and accurate to the best of your knowledge and belief?
Yes, sir. My name is James Halicki, Halicki. I live at 7330 Carmen Drive. I live on the corner of Carmen and Sheffield. Mr. DeHoff, I've been in communication with him. My wife talked to him today. Me and my wife are probably the main reason that he's willing to terminate that road. That road, if you add that road, is 19 feet from my house. I can't even park my truck. I have a Toyota Tundra, not some big, huge truck, just a regular average truck. Probably half the people in this place have F-150, Silverado. I can't park into my driveway if this road goes through. The bumper is in the road. You know, by where my camper parks, it's literally the gravel patch 3 feet from where this road will go. It will destroy my property value and destroy everything about my house that's nice. I can live with houses. I kind of wish they were a little farther away. The 20-foot buffer is nice, but those houses are on big houses on small lots. They're beautiful. I drove through that lot on Monday, and I took my wife there yesterday, drive through. So we both knew exactly what they're looking to build, and they look nice. It's a nice little neighborhood. But I wish if they're going to do that, maybe push the houses a little farther. I don't want progress. I want the men to make money. Everyone deserves to make money. If we need apartments around here, that's for you guys to decide. I don't know what the schooling, all the, with the busing and whatnot. But like I said, for me personally, for the people in my neighborhood, the added traffic, the no sidewalks, all the stuff you've already heard. But like I said, for me personally, I mean, my house, I will be forced to move, and I will get reduced value because nobody's going to come up and want to look by my house and they can't use the driveway. So that's something I just want you guys to consider, and appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Ma'am, did you say you wanted to speak? Were you sworn in?
Yes. I'm Jovan Burson Colangelo. I live on 7701 Angel Drive. I am a real estate agent with Howard Hanna, and I've been doing this for 6 years. And I will just say, every time that I go and show homes, if it's remotely by apartments, instantly the clients walk away. And I do know it will depreciate the people's houses, especially right along those apartments.
Thank you. Oh, we have one more in the back.
One moment here.
Hi.
Were you sworn in already, ma'am?
No, you need to swear at me, or swear.
Do you swear or affirm that the information you are about to present is true and accurate to the best of your knowledge and belief?
I do.
You state your full name and your address?
Sheila Harper,
Where I'm at right now, 6247 Market Avenue North. It's the Plain Township border. I'm in the Walsh University area. Oh, hi. I used to be at, I hope I'm saying this right, 2847 Apple Grove Street Northwest, between School and Starcliff. I grew up in Middle Branch, Ohio, and I'm proud to say that. I can't say that now because it's now Canton, Ohio. I grew up on the farms. I can't say that for all y'all. But I can say this, I took care of my family. And I did see a lot of land being scarfed up. And I'm seeing houses upon houses in what we thought was outside of the city, that's now becoming the city. You need to listen to these neighbors, please. I don't know where you all live. I don't need to know that. But when you walk in my moccasins, you will fight to the point till you almost die. Hours. Because you were forced off of some place that you were wanting to buy. And you couldn't because you didn't have that kind of money. But you have the ability to make sure they have quality of life. I don't care if it's 65 and you want to downsize. I don't care if you're 65 and you want to keep what you have because you're still good with life of that. Please, please, take more time for this. And let me just throw this out. There's a nice building on Main and East Maple that could be renovated into nice apartments for the students. Yeah. Because that can't handle that. And I do thank you, and I know I probably have dealt with many of you in different capacities, but thank you. Please, please, please think about this. Thank you.
Thank you. So with that, the board does need time to discuss and consider that, so we'll move on to the portion. Does anyone want to make a motion to approve the amendment? And again, folks,
I need to ask Chuck something first. Chuck, what's the rear setback in R3?
They added the 20 foot and it's 60 feet. So I think it'll be 80 feet deep with the setback.
I think the 20 feet's part of the setback. It's not an addition, No. I mean, the way I'm looking at this, so 60 feet.
When I went to camp, their recommendations to the trustees, the board of trustees, passed the front off and they have to make recommendations to accept
On the side between the rears. Well, they would. They're single family. I would assume so. What you're saying is
I think it's important for,
Point order.
I think it's important,
If you guys wanna hold conversations, I'll ask you to leave and go outside, please. We have to have our turn now.
yeah, I think it's important that you understand the total process here. This committee or commission has heard everything you've said, has looked at the application, reviewed it, and it's our task really to make a recommendation to the trustees. This will then go to the trustees at a public meeting for the trustees to consider, because the trustees can ultimately either accept the recommendation or not. Thereafter, the trustees will tell you that you have an opportunity to seek a referendum. So, you know, we're the first step in the process. I will also tell you that we have received a recommendation from Stark County Regional Planning. And just so you know, Regional Planning has recommended the approval. And they do a pretty thorough job of looking at a lot of things. And that's a matter of public record. You're welcome to look at that as well, but we do review that. As I said, I've heard the comments and the concerns with decreased values, traffic, a potential AEP substation, safety consideration, lack of traffic lights, you know, the seeming lack of development commitment or knowledge, as one gentleman put it, and potential decrease in value. So we're mindful of all that. We have heard all that. So thank you for your comments. With that said, I'm going to ask the applicant to confirm the amendment of the application to reflect a couple of things. One is that we have one record owner at this point, and that was Forward Principles. Two is the area sought for rezoning is 69.9473 acres, correct? And that is also to amend the application to require as a condition of any approval the execution and recordation of the declaration of restrictions with the changes that I alluded to and the exhibits I also alluded to. Changes being that the township and the trustees have to be beneficiaries. And they have to be, their written approval has to be obtained relative to the duration, terms relative to the potential amendment or termination, purposes as well. We also talked about adding exhibits to that. One would be something that depicts the 16-acre restricted site a little more clear. The attachment of the master plan itself, which will reflect that 20-foot landscape buffer that you're committing to. Will you change your application for those amendments? Yeah, okay. With that, for purposes of discussion among the members, I'll move to approve the application as amended. And again, that's for discussion purposes before the board.
I will second that for discussion purposes. Let's go first.
You know, a lot of the traffic concerns and safety concerns, you know, I appreciate and I understand that, but there's no requirement in this instance of a traffic study, for instance. Those are concerns that would not be alleviated if you left it zoned the way it is and you had single-family housing come in. So I look at that as kind of a concern that would exist irrespective. You also have a very responsible and credible developer, which is a plus in this instance. And you've got some commitment to supporting vacation of the two cut-through roads. And I think, Dan, you said that was Carmen and Sheffield? And also to looking to create the conservation area, which would be to the east. And I believe that little 10-foot strip that was mentioned, that's probably part of that contribution. And I'm guessing that that 10-foot strip was created so that there was frontage at some point on a public roadway. Otherwise, you can't create the split. So, as I said, I've heard the concerns. These are concerns that, again, can be brought before the trustees when they have their public meeting. But I'm going to support approval of the application as amended. So,
Are we able to ask
you a question?
No, this is not.
No, you
your-
can't do that.
Yeah.
No, why would you? I mean, why would you want to answer a question from a resident?
Not
I'm
on here.
not paying
They're in
attention.
the middle of discussion right now to try to decide what they're doing.
They don't know what they're doing.
I guess, I assume.
Yeah, that was me.
So, folks, if you're gonna keep interrupting us, you will need to leave. This is our portion. We've heard all of you talk. This is our portion to discuss this amongst ourselves and eventually vote on this issue.
We appreciate your condescending attitude. Thank you very much. We'll all remember it.
So, I will say, I understand the traffic concerns. I drive on Apple Grove every day. Traffic is bad on Apple Grove, but I don't think changing the zoning, is going to necessarily increase traffic that dramatically. I think traffic needs to be addressed on that road no matter what. And I have read the RPC's recommendation, and this, in the Plain Township mini plan, this already was designated as an area that would either be a PUD or, in this case, they're recommending R3. So I too would be in favor of this, despite, and I fully appreciate everyone's traffic concerns. I have the same concerns. They will need to be addressed eventually. But for purposes of this first step in the zoning process, I would approve.
So just to clarify, when this moves down the process, if it's approved, and they go to get their building permits, there will be a county engineer that has to approve that, correct?
they'd have to submit a site plan and a development plan with engineering. They'll have to go through the county.
And then that should drive, if, say for example, I would think there does need to be a stoplight added at the Apple Grove where the two are across from each other, or you'll never get out of that. I would think that would be discovered there and be resolved as they build it.
I don't know, to be honest with you. It might heighten the level of concern. It might lead to.
Might trigger the actual.
It might trigger it, yeah. They're expensive. I don't know, John, how, you know what traffic lights run anymore? Last I knew it was almost $300,000.
It's in that boat.
I'm not sure.
Cheaper than a light.
As far as the question that came up during the meeting around the AEP property that's owned and whether or not a substation's going there, having working for the electric utilities myself, the question is only about when, it's not if. Those properties were bought for a reason. They were bought because we do know the electric demand's going up. And when it gets high enough, based on a study, that substation will be built. That's just the reality of where we live. So, I think that was not at stake for whether or not we approve this. I think that's coming one way or another, whether there's houses built here, or municipalities, or multifamily homes built here, they all take electricity. So when the study demands a new substation, it'll get built. So I would also approve the recommended rezoning
As amended.
as amended.
Yeah, I think the traffic is the biggest concern here. Is there anything we can do to make sure that we approve this, that something will at least look at?
Well, again, it's not, in some zone changes, some classifications, for instance, require traffic studies. We had one, the most recent one we had, request required that. But our hands are kind of tied, I mean, we can't make it a condition required. It'll be part of the process when they go to submit their site plan, engineering to the county.
I just want to make sure that's the case.
Well, they do have to submit a site plan. There's no telling what the Stark County engineer will require.
I think that's up to the engineer, not us, as far as whether the engineer is going to require that.
It is a county road, not a township or a city road, so it is county, so it can ride into the county.
People, please, we're trying to listen to them.
So, I mean, with everything that was presented here and same thing with Holland, it makes a good buffer instead of putting everything right next to, even if it is gonna be still all R3. So I would move to approve, amended as is.
Yeah, I agree. I think you guys brought up good points, and I think a lot of these problems will get ironed out once these plans get submitted to the county. Things start rolling down the line. So, yeah, I would approve these plans as amended.
As amended?
Yeah.
No, the motion's been made and seconded. It's now called the question.
All right, everyone's ready? Any other discussion? Results?
Approve.
Rohrabacher?
Yes.
Seaberger is not present. McCallion, yes. Underation?
Yes.
Pulliam?
Yes.
The motion, the amendment 594-26 by McKinley Development Company LTD and Board of Principals as amended passes unanimously.
Well, when does it go to the trustees?
Their next trustee meeting, they have to set the hearing, so it would be in the first meeting in June. So that would be.
We'll have triple people here.